recover from.
Now, one thing I'm noticing looking at the start screens is mghtymth does not have a save file in case he soft locks on Walrus Skip. Now, we've seen that become an issue in past races. See if it happens today. And there they go.
Yes, this could kind of be an issue, especially if, Mighty does fail Walrus Skip, which can be a possibility, depending on the trick.
Potentially, he might save and quit in the room beforehand. While technically it's not allowed in the category, it is allowed per tournament rules. We'll get into that in a moment. But first, we'll explain the category that we're doing. So this is the no wrong warp, no out of bounds, no save and quit, also referred to as SWOOB. No saving and quitting is allowed, though in the tournament we have allowed it to get out of a soft lock as long as you return to the room where you were. So no advancing with it.
I'd like to also... Oh, right, sorry. You can go.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'd like to say that intentional death warps are also not allowed. There's several areas in the run where if you died intentionally, you could actually, potentially save some time.
Indeed. GreenTunic not getting Quick Sword. I don't think Mighty got it either. Nope. So, no wrong warp. You cannot use warps like staircases and doors and cave entrances to warp to a different area than you're intended to. And also, no out of bounds, which has a bit of a complicated explanation to it. It's you cannot go greater than one tile away from a tile which you can normally access. Something like that. It's a tongue fault.
Out of bounds is very controversial in this game. There's actually two rule sets the LA and LADX community use.
And you'll understand why it's complicated much later into the run, like 45 minutes later. So one thing you're noticing the players doing is clipping in the walls. That is good movement tech. It saves, might only save you a couple frames on each screen, but if you do that on each screen, that will add up to minutes over the course of a run. And you're able to easily clip in, I believe it's 3 pixels into any wall.
Yes, this is also used for a glitch, but we'll get into that later. We don't want to spoil anything for now.
Wait, what? There's glitches here? I didn't know that.
Oh god, sorry. Spoiler alert.
Good cave by GreenTunic. You only have 1 or 2 pixels where you can spin slash and hit both of those objects and not fall into that pit.
Yeah, falling into the pit is actually quite easy.
Mighty getting it very quickly as well, struggling with the keys. Now coming up the Moblin Skip, we'll see how this goes for the players. They need this Moblin to face up and shoot them across the pit. You're not supposed to be able to do that.
Looks like
getting it fairly quickly.
Mighty's having a bit of trouble with it, but we'll wait and see.
GreenTunic getting Owl Skip. That is pretty much frame perfect, I believe.
Yes. One second, I'm just trying to...
Yeah, I was refreshing my screen real quick.
Yes.
So I think Mighty got an Owl Skip as well. He did.
Nice. I'm just gonna go onto the speed gaming thing.
Alright. Yeah, so far GreenTunic well ahead. However, as we've seen all tournament, anything can happen. I've seen many players come back.
This is LADX, anything could actually happen.
Really. We talked about it. There are potential soft locks, some of which you cannot recover from.
Right, I'm on the commentary stream now, so hopefully it's working.
Coming up, stealing from the shopkeeper. We're speedrunners. We are apparently thieves.
This is actually intentional by the developers. You get it for 1 picture in 100%, and also it changes your name permanently to Thief.
And the reason we do that, we don't want to grind rupees. We need the shovel later on. It also gives us access to buy bombs and steal the bow and arrow, which is very overpowered this early in the game. I don't think they expected you to have it.
They shouldn't give us the ability to steal the bow and then not expect us to just steal it.
Right. So GreenTunic now heading to Dungeon 1. Pretty good time so far.
Dungeon 1 has quite a few interesting techs to it. Oh god, he's going for this.
I don't
It
know.
looks like he got... It's a pit walk. The pits in this game are very interesting, I guess, in the way they work. What GreenTunic there did was he wall clipped, and because of the way pits work, they sort of have a point in space where they drag you. You can actually just walk through that pit. It's sub-pixel based though, so it's not very consistent.
And by the way, the Dungeon 1 keyhole, I bet you didn't know you could actually put in the key from the side. There's a hidden keyhole there if you do it the right way.
It's a hidden keyhole.
Right. Now, another thing you're seeing a lot of kills, some of which look pretty random, and why would they do that? There is a reason for it, as we will see starting at around Dungeon 2. This is part of their piece of power routing. That'll become very important tech later on.
The piece of
We'll
power
talk
is
about that more later on.
one of the main reasons you don't actually save and quit in this run, even though it would save time in certain areas.
Coming up now to the dungeon item, the feather. Very useful. And it's going to help us break this game in unintended ways. So,
GreenTunic.
damage boost.
There it is. The best item in the game.
Indeed. And it won't take long for you to see why.
So, should we explain this now, or do you want to do it as he's doing it?
Sure, go ahead and explain it. I'll let you handle that.
As you can see, in dungeons there are often these ledges you can jump down from. They're not really very broken naturally, but using a glitch called super jumps, we can actually completely break dungeons in half. GreenTunic there just clipped into the wall and sort of tricked the game into thinking he was on top of the wall and then vaulted off the wall, causing him to go straight over that key block. He has another one there, and he's about to do one here to sort of skip going around.
One thing I do want to mention we're seeing a couple things we'll explain later on. Hey, look, a very broken, overpowered bow and arrow. Whenever they acquire an item or open a chest, you're seeing them open the save and quit menu. That is allowed. It actually skips the text. And you can also do similar here for the bosses, as well as when you walk into the dungeon. Oh, falling into the pit.
That's quite unfortunate, but you can recover fairly easily by buffering up and feather when you fall down to quickly go to the staircase.
Mighty struggling with the super jump to get over that key block.
Yeah, the super jump timing is sort of precise. There's a definite rhythm to it.
While we have a quick moment, I'll explain another piece of important tech, and that is your menuing. We spend a lot of time in this run in the menus. It's very important for the top tier runners to have a specific menu route and know where your items are and where your cursor is at all times. I will save you a minute.
The LADX menu is very different to menus like in Ocarina of Time, for example, where each item has a specific place and will always be in that place. In LADX, the menu's completely, I guess you can move it around, you can put items wherever you want. It also adds to a lot of runner individuality. For example, some runners may like their items in specific areas.
Lady struggling with Moldorm and actually falling in. Moldorm control you very easily.
Yes, when you hit him, you clink off him, and you can sort of fall in the pit that way, and it's kind of very tragic when it happens. But luckily,
Much better fight the second time around.
Yeah, luckily Mighty got a fairly good Moldorm second time around.
So again, you go see GreenTunic going for a lot of kills here in the forest. Now the kills add up to two different things: piece of power, but also the Guardian Acorn. So you want to explain what those two items do?
Yeah, sure. The Guardian Acorn is dropped, I think, after about 15 kills or so. I'm not entirely too sure on the number. But when you get the Guardian... Oh, 12. Okay, thanks. When you get the Guardian Acorn, you receive half as much damage. But the problem is that we don't really want the Guardian Acorn. It's not useful at all. And there you go. It's on GreenTunic's screen. So what we want is the Piece of Power. The Piece of Power is dropped after 30 kills. So obviously it takes quite a bit longer to get the Piece of Power, but it's overall a lot more helpful in the run.
Now, a couple more things about them. First of all, the Guardian Acorn, you only get if you have the 12 kills without taking damage, so you will at times see players take intentional hits just to avoid that dropping and getting in the way. Another thing, you cannot, if you're under the effects of the Guardian Acorn, Piece of Power will not drop, even if it's scheduled to. So...
Yes.
That's very major. If you accidentally pick up an acorn and you know your Piece of Power is supposed to be dropping very shortly, you actually want to take 3 intentional hits so you lose it, because you lose the effects after the hits. That way
Another thing I'd like to say is that we're playing on the Japanese version, obviously, it's faster text. But another significant thing is a lot of areas you can just press B to cancel text boxes and get through them quite quickly. In the English version, for some reason they removed this feature. No idea why, but whatever.
So if GreenTunic is routed properly, Piece of Power should drop here? Well, maybe in the next room. So...
Looks like you can get
Piece of Power.
Piece of Power from the Moldome, not the Wizrobe. Another annoying thing is if the Piece of Power happens to drop from a mini-boss, you won't be able to collect it.
Correct. There it is, dropped off the key, so much later than you wanted, but better than not receiving it at all. Because that movement speed increase is tremendous.
It's also a lot better than actually picking up the Acorn. In a lot of other categories, you'll notice runners use the bow on the mini-boss there. It's pretty much, I think it's slightly faster to use the bow, but because we have Piece of Power, there's literally no reason to waste arrows on the boss.
What you just saw on Mighty Screen, and we saw GreenTunic do it earlier, is called a flock clip. You clip yourself into those trees, and then kind of hold up and left when that text box pops up for the rock. You actually move a pixel to the left, or at least, maybe not the full pixel, but some sub-pixels. And you can just walk right on by.
It's to do with the fact that when a text box appears in this game, you can usually move for about a frame or so.
So this room GreenTunic's in now, you have to kill these enemies in a specific order, or you will not receive the chest with the boss key. No. You see right there, that's wrong. You gotta exit, come back in, try again.
You have to kill the rabbits, the bats, and then the skeleton guy, I guess. Or if you want the proper Zelda terminology, trolled. I guess you want the Pulse voice, the Keys, and then the Stalvos.
Yes, and he got trolled there and lost his Piece of Power. That's gonna hurt him a little bit, but not too much since we're near the end of the dungeon.
He's also on quite low health, which could be quite dangerous unless he doesn't decide to pick up a fairy here, which I'm pretty sure he's going to go for. Yeah.
I didn't know that fairy was there. That's good to know.
It's helpful, especially if you're on low health after that room.
Yes. So coming up to the Dungeon 2 boss, the Djinn, and we're not going to quite do that as intended, courtesy of, once again, clipping in the walls. So you want to explain how this fight's going to go compared to what you're supposed to do?
Yes, this genie boss is probably one of the most annoying bosses casually. Usually supposed to hit him after he throws 8 fireballs at you, throw him at a wall, and he taunts you about how you can't break his bottle and whatever. In this fight, however, we're going to wall clip and then throw the bottle technically inside the wall, which causes him to almost crack the bottle instantly. Then we're going to drop a bomb and then shoot a bomb arrow in order to very quickly kill this boss.
And he gets it. That's one, if you're not quick on that bomb arrow, he will start going around the room and you have to go get another hit on him. But as long as you get the bottle broken, that's the important part. You can recover if you break the bottle but don't get the kill quick.
It's very annoying when you accidentally wall clip just enough and he takes one hit, and it's kind of tragic.
I didn't see what Mighty got his Piece of Power, but he did get one in Dungeon 2. That's the important part. And yeah, you can walk right on by those flowers, leaving Dungeon 2.
Yeah, it's to do with wall clipping as well, again.
Mighty is not all that far behind. A little bit of stutter on the stream, so I can't see exactly where he is.
Yeah, it looks like his stream's frozen from the commentary stream we're watching.
Yeah. So, yeah, one thing you're noticing about Bow Wow, I don't think we talked about it. You're supposed to return Bow Wow at this point. He's our best friend and our worst enemy for the rest of the game. We're not going to return him. We're going to keep him.
It's bittersweet.
So, you see him eating all these enemies. That's a good thing and a bad thing because of Piece of Power routing. If he eats too many, you will have a Piece of Power drop early outside of Dungeon 5, or even probably before that, and you will not have it for the dungeon. And you really want that for Dungeon 5.
It looks like Mighty stream is completely frozen, for me at least.
Yeah, he disconnected.
Oh god.
So, right now, GreenTunic working on Villa Skip. You might have heard the audio cue there of Link falling into the pit. if you pause on that frame and buffer down out of the frame, you will actually transition to the next screen, skipping a very long side quest to get this key, despite it not looking like a key.
1 second, I think my internet might be down or something. Okay, I've got GreenTunic back.
Okay.
Right, so yeah, obviously they can skip a whole side quest there with Richard and getting his 5 golden leaves.
Oh, Mighty is back. And apparently his fight went well. And yeah, you can another hidden keyhole. You could put the key in from behind here. Bet you didn't know that.
The keyholes in this game are very funny.
Right? So Dungeon 3, again, we'll be getting a piece of power about halfway through this dungeon. It also has our first soft lock potential.
Hopefully the runners get a soft lock free D3. But of course they can save and quit out of the scenario if they do manage to get a soft lock. It's not really too big of an issue in a race. If it was a real run, obviously they'd just reset, but you know that's not really a good attitude to have in a live race.
Yes. And piece of power should be dropping in this next room. Oh no! Now he went from getting a late piece of power in Dungeon 2 to an early one in Dungeon 3.
That's actually a really good piece of power.
We'll see if he gets a piece of power in Dungeon 5, or if it drops early as a result. So that super jump right there, flanking off the Dodongos, that is the Dodongo skip. If you're too slow, you will actually get stuck in the rocks and be soft blocked. And we'll actually be there again in a moment.
It's significantly easier with the piece of power because you move slightly faster. That trick is definitely kind of annoying to get the timing down. A lot of newer runners can struggle with it, especially if you're trying to, you know, get a few good runs going and you soft lock, and yeah, it's not very good.
Mighty getting ready to enter Dungeon 3. GreenTunic doing his second attempt at the Dodongo skip. And he fails it, but that's a good way you want to fail, because you can redo.
Also, because he has the boots, he can actually, if he slightly misses Dodongo skip by a couple of pixels, he can boots out of there. So the second Dodongo skip is slightly easier than the first.
If you press top, if you press down, just tap it at the top of the ladder, you will completely fall down.
Mighty stream appears to be frozen again for me. He says he might have to give up, actually.
We will see. So this boss, I believe it's Vitreous. He can be a bit of a pain. And yep, using bootstraps, bonking off the wall so you don't get stunned when they fall down, and get a pretty decent kill.
For some reason, when you have a piece of power at that boss, occasionally he won't actually split into his separate parts.
That is Dungeon 3.
Yeah, Mighty's saying he may have to give up due to OBS. So we could end this race prematurely, disappointingly.
For now, we're going to keep on going.
Well, yes. See where this goes.
And I think no matter what, we want GreenTunic to finish.
Yeah, it'd be optimal if just GreenTunic finished, and maybe if Mighty managed to get OBS to work for him, he could, like, I don't know, maybe try and do another one. We're coming up to the second softlock part of this run. GreenTunic's sort of heading towards the area where we're going to perform it. So the trick here is a Walrus Skip. Usually in the game you are supposed to get Marin from the beach by Koholint, or not, by maybe Village, sorry. And you have to get her to wake this sleepy walrus. But that's not really very fast. Obviously it takes quite a while to get Marin, there's a long cutscene involved. So what GreenTunic is going to be doing is going to be using a bomb trigger and activate the cutscene using bombs. He's going to the upper part of this area and transition while using a bomb. This causes the game to kind of glitch out a bit and like sort of play cutscenes without necessarily the prerequisites of said cutscene. This can cause tons of things to happen, and in this case it just happens the walrus wakes up. The
yes, go ahead.
The softlock part of this is if a certain NPC comes onto the screen and you can't escape in time, you can end up permanently on the screen with the Walrus. It's kind of annoying when it happens, but luckily GreenTunic didn't softlock there.
Alternatively, if you leave the screen too early, you're also soft-locked, because right now you can't tell, but GreenTunic cannot open his menu, use his items. He can now that he went into a cave. But you would be stuck, the Walrus would actually reappear, and you couldn't use any items. You can't enter a cave because there's none open. And again, it's a soft lock. Now, that mini-boss you just didn't see was Lamela. Don't worry, you won't see him again later.
Yeah, his hitbox is there before he even appears on the screen. You can use an arrow, 2 arrows to kill him. There's tons of moments like that in this game where the hitbox of an enemy is actually there before it even appears.
Mighty finishing up the E3. Now, we've already told him just if he has more OBS issues, go ahead and finish the race and do what he can.
It looks like he's fairly stable for now, though.
He's actually not doing all that bad.
Yeah, oh god, as I say that.
Yeah. So now GreenTunic heading to the Dungeon 4 keyhole, which is far away from both the Dungeon 4 entrance and where you get the key. So a lot of overworld movement during this time. Huge time loss potential if you forget to go to the keyhole.
Just want to do a quick plug for Hundo here. We can just teleport here using the portal.
Yeah.
Yeah, forgetting the keyhole here is actually a real mistake a lot of people make. It's kind of easy. It's fairly out of the way.
I don't know if we've had that happen yet this tournament. I know we've had plenty of other things. We have had soft locks on Walrus Skip with people who did not have their backup save file already.
Yeah, Mighty doesn't have a backup save, so if he fails Walrus Skip, this could spell the end of the run unless he save and quits beforehand.
Yes, we'll see if he thinks about that, because he can enter this house, and he does not.
This is going quite risky. I think he might be going for the safer Walrus Skip strats in the upper area. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, okay, he's doing the side strat. This strat is actually really easy, as long as you do it correctly.
Yeah, it looks like he got it fairly successful.
As long as you buffer right on the transition, or buffer right and hit bombs on the transition, or not on transition, when you leave the menu, instead of on the transition. Let me explain it right, then you can get it every time. If you do it the other way, you soft lock.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay, there we go. He didn't soft lock.
Hey, what's GreenTunic doing?
Oh yeah, he's doing the most important skip of the game and the only actual glitch in this game. Walrus obstacle skip. There's a small obstacle there that you need to hit with the Pegasus boots. You can skip over it with a very precise jump. It's probably the least impactful glitch of this entire run, but we all like to hype it up because of how impactful it is.
It saves you like a half a second, and if you fail it, it costs you about 2 seconds. So...
that's just part of the experience. It wouldn't be obstacle skip if it wasn't completely useless. This is D4 dungeon, which is pretty heavily broken by the super jumping trick. As most of them are, to be honest.
D4, if you're not careful, you can get completely wrecked.
Yeah, there's kind of few annoying areas.
Jump 1, GreenTunic getting it. That jump is really dumb.
A lot of people call it the dumb jump, mainly because it's kind of annoying to get.
And breaking the dungeon, don't mind us.
It's so amazing how many easy sequence breaks were in this game, simply because the developers didn't understand the power of the boots and the feather. It's kind of silly, to be honest.
So this is Cue Ball. He takes 4 spin slashes. That was Cue Ball.
Bye, Cue Ball.
You will be missed. We will be missing you the entire rest of the race, and remember you.
I already forgot who it was.
Oh, very early piece of power from GreenTunic. That is unfortunate.
He's not going to pick up the piece of power because, no reason to, really. He's about to leave D4.
So
which would actually get rid of the piece of power.
Indeed. We do Dungeon 4 in 2 parts, so he's going to head to D5 now. The reason being, if we were to complete D4 right now as intended, leaving it, we'd actually be stuck doing a side quest with a ghost, traveling the world with him, and it takes a while. However...
One sec. Okay, you're gone.
However, there is a trigger for that to not happen, and that is picking up the level 2 power bracelet in Dungeon 6. Why? We don't know.
It's actually, like, we don't use any glitches, we just leave D4 early, go to D5, no glitches at all used, it's just a small little optimization.
Yeah, you can do that casually.
You can also access D6 before D5 casually, fun fact. So yeah, GreenTunic about to enter D5, arguably one of the harder dungeons in this game.
It'll be even harder without Piece of Power.
Yeah.
So this dungeon's very long. It also involves a lot of backtracking.
This is why Save and Quit is better. Kappa. Controversial opinion.
First of 2 times, we'll be taking this exact path. Front and back.
Yeah, there's
making a key, but we'll be back here to find a mini-boss later on.
The sort of gimmick of this dungeon is that the item of the dungeon, the hookshot, has been sort of stolen by Master Stalfos, and you need to beat some sense into him 4 times with a bunch of bombs, so he finally gives you the item.
And we fight him in 4 different rooms, and you have to do it in a specific order, or he just won't spawn in the room. The
order is notated by the amount of blocks in the room, so there's 1 for the first one, obviously, 2 for the second, 3 for the third, and 4 for the fourth.
I don't know that I knew that.
Look in the top left corner, there's a block.
I never knew that.
I think that's how they intended you to know the order casually. Also, if you hit this guy 4 times, he actually drops a key. I have no idea why.
So yeah, the first and 4th time you fight him, he takes 3 bombs to kill. The second and third, it's only 2.
So yeah, the runners will use specific strats to like minimize the amount of bomb usage.
Yeah, our bomb and arrow counts are very tight throughout the run. There's a couple places where you can get some extra, but overall, it's very easy to run out if you're not careful.
Yeah, bombs and arrows are probably some of the most helpful items in the run. Bombs specifically are just really broken, very helpful. So Mighty defeating Cue Ball, the hardest boss in the game. Right, so
Mighty will be picking up his flippers and then leaving the dungeon.
There are tons of weird things in this game. I'm pretty sure those are like called the flipper item for some reason. Bad translations, I guess.
I'll do another super jump here.
That was probably the least impactful super jump. You can actually just pick up the pots, move the block. It's not very important, to be honest, in the run. A few are very important. Saving quitting is also faster.
So right here is Dumb Jump 2. You're supposed to have the hook shot to get this chest. We don't have the hook shot, and we're gonna get it afterward.
Yeah, this actually is a very good time saver because, like, you'd have to kill the boss, go back quite far in the dungeon to get the hook shot, and then come all the way back to get the boss key. And it would waste a significant amount of time.
So that was second try. Much better than a lot of players this tournament. So even with Mighty's issues, he's about to enter D5 and these players will be in the same dungeon.
Yeah,
so that's not bad at all.
In fact, I think he might be getting Piece of Power in this dungeon as well. Well, unless I'm mistaken.
That'll help him gain some time. I think you're right, there it is.
Yep, there we go.
Right there.
The legendary pizza slice.
Don't make it for pizza.
Yeah, so Mighty might actually catch up with his Piece of Power.
Looks like they're in the same room now, however, remember, Mighty has to come here twice.
Yeah, and this is the final encounter with...
Yep, this time he actually dies.
Yeah. He was only mostly dead the last couple of times.
GreenTunic struggling a bit with the menu. Now again, can't stress the importance of that enough. He might have realized he made a menuing mistake and wanted to fix it real quick. That way it goes faster throughout the rest of the run, rather than having to spend
a lot of runners have, actually including myself, have specific menu routing where you know what inputs to press on each menu, or how to react to specific menus, and you can actually save minutes just on menu routing and optimization.
Those Helmasaurs are the worst. The hookshot really helps you with them. So to kill them, you have to be facing the same direction as them when you hit them. It's a pain. They control your
God.
face.
I saw GreenTunic get a piece of power, but he immediately transitioned.
Yeah, at this point, it's also not worth getting, because in the rooms coming up, you'd actually want to lose it. It actually hurts you when fighting the boss, Wall Snake, which will be coming up on in just about 5 rooms.
Yes, there's a specific reason for this, which I'm sure Final Flame can get into.
Okay. So, I believe we mentioned earlier, one thing you get with Piece of Power is you actually get a knockback effect. That hurts on this boss. So we're going to be pulling this boss out of the wall, hopefully twice, and try and get 4 or 5 hits on each cycle, because you need 8 hits total. But if you have the knockback... Go ahead.
The specific reason why the knockback actually hits him is you have a specific amount of time to hit him as he's coming out of the wall, and with knockback you'll actually knock him further away and increase the amount of, you know, like, I guess, it'll be less time to hit him. It's possible with the piece of power, it's just a lot harder. And there you go, GreenTunic going for the 2 cycle.
I'm glad you stepped in on that one. I was not prepared for that. That is Dungeon 5. He's only a couple minutes behind. This is actually still pretty good.
Yeah, he's on the 3rd Master Stalfos fight, so he's definitely still...
Honestly, he's not out of the race.
Yeah, especially because he has piece of power in the dungeon. Yeah. Oh, it looks like he lost
it. Battle, but he's not out of the race.
Looks like he's going for a naked super jump here.
Yeah, they're a pain to me. So you can do super jumps without use of a weapon by just facing away from the wall and doing slightly different inputs.
Yeah, it's because when you use the sword and such, it's because you're actually facing away from the wall when you use the sword and stuff. That's like the only reason we actually use a sword, the magic rod, and the bow to do super jumps. It's possible to do naked super jumps everywhere, it's just not very efficient in a lot of areas, because you have to be facing away.
So GreenTunic heading to get the Dungeon 6 key in the Armos maze. Now Bow Wow can be a friend here by clearing a bunch of the Armos Knight.
Mighty just got the dumb jump first try.
Nice, good for him.
So yeah, this is definitely quite a tight race, to be honest.
Yeah, these Armos in the maze are guaranteed to drop an arrow if you defeat them or if they get eaten. So this is a great source of arrow refills if you're low, and if Bow Wow cooperates. It's also a great source of taking a lot of damage if you're not careful.
Yeah, this area of the game is quite dangerous, especially with the amount of health these players have.
Right, entering against our next fight, there's a couple different ways you can do this mini-boss. GreenTunic going for bootstraps, that's quickest. Alternatively, you can use a feather.
The feather is slightly slower. Bootstraps is a pretty cool strat. As you can see, he just basically knocks into the guy several times with his boots and sword. You can use the feather and the bow to try and do damage to him, which is fairly quick, but not nearly as quick as bootstraps. And I think that's the only real ways you can kill him, especially in this run. Although I think you can use the feather and spin slashes. I don't think you have the right amount of arrows to actually hit him.
Lady getting his hook shot, so we'll be heading to the boss now.
The hook shot is actually one of the fastest speed you can achieve in the game if you hook onto something.
Now, coming up shortly on GreenTunic's screen, you're going to see something interesting if he goes for it, and also see why Bow Wow is arguably one of the most powerful beings in the Zelda universe.
Interestingly enough, Mighty chose to get piece of power here.
That is interesting.
Because he's going to have to get rid of it for the boss if he wants to have an easy time with it. I'm not sure if that actually saves time or not.
So let's see if GreenTunic does it. He should.
Yep. Oh god, he falls to the
if you shoot a bomb arrow against the left wall, it failed.
Oh,
Never mind. We'll talk about that later.
Okay. I was planning on explaining it, but whatever.
We'll hype it up a bit longer.
Yeah, it's gonna wrong warp him to the credits. Kappa.
Fun fact, we do have ACE. Fun fact, that is not how you do it.
Arbitrary code execution is a meme. Don't even talk about it in this run. Oh god, GreenTunic getting kind of an annoying room with these Zols. And she's opting to bomb one of them. Quite brutal.
So fun fact, if you're low on health here, if you stomp on Goombas, they are guaranteed to drop a heart.
It also does not
useful.
increment the kill counter. Fun fact.
I learned that the other day. Along with the main bosses do not increment it.
Yeah, you can memory watch this game and just look at the kill counter memory address and find all these fun facts for yourself if you're interested.
So, right now on GreenTunic's screen, that is the level 2 power bracelet. That means, at any point, theoretically, he could go back to Dungeon 4 and complete it without having to do the Ghost side quest.
Yeah, also the level 2 bracelet picks up things slightly faster than the level 1. It's like only a very small difference.
2 cycles.
Yeah, I wasn't watching Mighty Screen, I was on GreenTunic.
Whoa, how's GreenTunic not taking any damage?
Hacks.
So if you push up against that pot in the corner and hookshot it, the game still thinks you're in the hookshot state, and when you're hookshotting, you're invincible. So you can't actually get hit.
Yeah, that's one of the more interesting glitches in the game. You can also use it to wall clip as a backup for a strat in D7. So yeah, that's a specific bomb placement there to optimize that room with the whiz robes.
Coming up, another soft lock potential. However, we have a very good visual cue to avoid it.
That wasn't a soft lock, by the way. That was just a super jump to get the boss key early. The baby super jump to line up for the daddy super jump, as I like to say.
Another fun fact, you have to throw the pot at that chest to open it. If you walk up to it and try and open it normally, it's not going to work.
Yeah, so it's because the actual owl tells you, like, throw a pot at this or whatever. Ooh, good super jump there that can soft lock. You can just get stuck there, and you can save and quit out of it, but it's obviously quite a large time waste.
However, again, we have a very good visual cue so that you should never have to worry about a soft lock unless you forget it.
I actually don't know the visual cue for that. I only recently learned it. And
so, GreenTunic, it's our favorite horse heads. Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Holy. I don't even think that's actually, like, real right now.
First try horse heads, that's very RNG heavy. You have a 1 in 4 chance of getting them both to land face up, and you need them to land face up, both of them, in order for that door to unlock. So, and there's no limit on how many times you can throw them. You could just be stuck there for
thousands of years.
Coming up on Dungeon Boss Facade, we can get 3 hits on him before you're even supposed to be able to hit him.
Yeah, it's a very common theme in this game that bosses appear before they're supposed to.
Right. So now we did that, we just need to get 2 more hits while dodging the flying tiles, which, if you're not careful, they'll hurt you.
This is one of the more interesting bosses. When I first played this game, I had no idea how to get this guy down.
See over on Mighty Screen, he's doing feather strats in the armor knight.
Yeah, when the Armor's Knight falls down from his small jump, he actually stuns you for a couple of seconds, which can actually be kind of bad. It's not very pleasant when it happens.
GreenTunic doing some showing off. I don't actually know how to do that.
Oh, I'll explain. If you place a bomb right before you pick up an instrument in this game, for some reason, you can pick up the bomb during the instrument cutscene and repeatedly throw it. It's a glorious meme. It's a glorious meme. I always do it, and it's just amazing. Also, the similar thing happens with pretty much every item in the game. For example, if you do it with the arrows, like you shoot an arrow right before the instrument cutscene, an arrow will actually just randomly shoot out during the cutscene.
So now GreenTunic heading back to Dungeon 4 so we can complete that and move on.
That bomb trick is a blast of a trick.
So now we'll see if we get some special magic from Mighty. And then maybe we could talk about the thing that we were not talking about.
We'll mention the thing that we said that we were going to mention later in the run. Also, this pit that Mighty is jumping over is so disgustingly sequence break. I actually think it might have been semi-intentional.
Bow Wow, please. Bow Wow trolling both runners entering D6. I guess we'll have to wait to D7.
Bow Wow eats everything except for the things you want him to eat. It's sort of like some sort of Pokemon encounter with the 5% rates. You really want to find it, but you never can.
On GreenTunic screen, fun little super jump here. We're going to actually use our sword to clank off the P-hat and land on the ledge below.
Top 10 super jumps, that's easily about number 3 in my opinion.
And then, because they really thought this through, there's the boss room. Coming up on everyone's favorite fight, the anglerfish.
If GreenTunic is... Ooh, he didn't go for a spin slash there, you can actually spin slash him earlier and get, I think, an extra hit on him so you don't have to use 3 bomb arrows.
Yes. It's a first try, quick and easy. And that was Dungeon 4.
Yeah, we split it up into 2 parts, obviously, because the level 2 bracelet is a trigger for, like, the ghost not to spawn.
Did GreenTunic jump over the instrument?
Yes, I believe he did. Oh, might he actually go for an interesting strat here? He picked up the fairy there, obviously, because he wants to recover health.
Yeah, he was only at about 1.5 hearts.
That's definitely a viable strat. A lot of things in this game are kind of interchangeable. You can get hearts when you need them. For example, the D2 heart, the fairy there.
Piece of power for Mighty. That'll be a bit helpful.
Yeah, it'll save a couple of seconds or so. Well, not a couple of seconds, I'd say about.
Hey, piece of power on GreenTunic, right on time.
Oh god. These piece of powers. Synchronized. So, GreenTunic heading for D7, and he's going to do an interesting trick to get the D7 key before you are supposed to.
Yeah, an interesting trick, and arguably the hardest in the game. Because if you fail it, you lose 30 seconds, guaranteed.
Yeah.
But first, if you recognize this cave, you know what's coming up. It's
we'll stay silent for it. We don't want to ruin the event of it.
There we go. So real quick to answer someone in chat, we talked about it earlier when GreenTunic did it, but Mighty just did the invulnerability with the hook shot in that flying tile room. If you just if you're walking against the pot and use your hook shot while standing next to it, the game thinks you're still hook shotting, and because of that, you're invulnerable, and you can just stand there and get hit by the tiles, but not actually get hit.
This game's well put.
It is Rooster Skip time for GreenTunic, taking the safe room 1.
Yeah, Rooster Skip essentially involves this technique in the game called hookshot jumping. When you are using your hookshot over a pit, you can like jump at just the right time. And disappointingly, GreenTunic didn't actually manage to get it first try, but that's understandable. It's a really annoying trick.
That was unfortunate. So that is a huge time loss. A couple more times doing that, Mighty can get there. That's why this race is not over.
You can buffer it if you want an ultra consistent method. And Mighty actually getting the super jump without a soft lock, which is always nice. Oh, got a really good
quick by
GreenTunic. Yeah, that's the bird key. The sort of, I don't know what to call it. I guess the top of the key is shaped like a bird's face. So that's required to open the D7 dungeon Eagles Tower.
Oh my gosh, Mighty getting first try horse heads. What is this sorcery?
Okay. I'm starting to really think that these runners are using hacks, Kappa, and I think we need to crack down on the source of this.
Unreal.
How is this even happening? Like, I think one time in one of my runs, I got like a 16 try horse head, and it's just tragic.
So, we'll see if Bow Wow will be a pal here and help us out getting into Dungeon 7. This one a bit easier to do than Dungeon 6, what the runners were trying to do, didn't do, we didn't talk about it.
If neither of them get it, should we just explain it, or should we leave it as a viewer mystery?
I think we should just leave it. If they don't get it for D7, for shame.
It is slightly based on RNG. I'm not actually too sure, though.
True. It is. So, we're going to open the key from... There we go. We're going to open the key from the side while pushing against the wall, and yeah, Bow Wow just ate a cutscene.
Yeah, cutscenes are the enemies of speedrunners, quite literally, in this scenario. because Bow actually considers a cutscene to be an enemy and can eat it.
Show me another creature in Zelda universe that can do that. So this is Dungeon 7. And casually, it's pretty long. You have to grab a big ball, throw it against pillars, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's severely broken by the use of bomb triggers.
Yes, I like to think this is an in-law reason, like Link is actually blowing up the pillars with his bombs. That's not actually a thing though, by the way. I just like to think of that.
So GreenTunic opting to go for the pits. He failed the first transition. There are two different ways of doing this. If you draw out two bombs within 4 frames of each other in the pit, it'll play the cutscene. Alternatively, you can do it on the transition.
Yeah, I guess we didn't really explain it, but the reason bomb triggers actually work is, usually in this game you're only ever supposed to have one bomb at the screen at once. If you place down a bomb, you can't place down another one. During a transition, however, you can place down more than 2 bombs, and this causes the game to get very confused and play certain events without necessarily having the prerequisites to play them. You can do the similar thing with the pits, like the bomb doesn't fully go away from the screen as you place another one, and that's basically the same concept.
So that's the first half of Dungeon 7, but we're not done breaking it.
Yes, I don't know if GreenTunic is going to go for the dumb jump, but if he is, I hope he gets good RNG here.
Yep,
it looks like he is.
Goomba surf. He needs a Goomba to cooperate. He gives it one try. They do not cooperate, so he's doing a backup method, which is another clanking off the P-hat. Now, this method takes, optimally, about 15 extra seconds. However, that's if the Goombas cooperated the first time.
Yeah, also that super jump is extremely amazing, and I definitely think that the Goomba Surfer just pales in comparison to it.
So this is Evil Eagle. Casually, he's a pain. Not anymore.
Yeah, this boss is actually kind of annoying casually, with the wind he blows on you that you're supposed to, I guess, use level 2 Mirror Shield to block. It's very annoying.
But we're gonna break it with bombs. 3 bombs to the face, and he's dead.
You'll blow this bird up with some bombs, and...
Now, be careful at this point, you don't fall off the ladder, because if you do that before you get the heart, you have to fight him again.
No, we didn't actually explain the fact that hearts are completely required in LADX. The door to the instrument won't actually open unless you get the heart. So that's why the runners are getting the hearts. It also helps with a few things. You know, a few dangerous areas of the run.
And there's D7 done for GreenTunic. Meanwhile, Mighty heading for the Dungeon 4 boss, and then after that, he will hit Dungeon 7.
Yeah, unless Mighty somehow manages to get some sort of world record gold pace, enter D7s, I somehow doubt he'll be able to catch up GreenTunic, but anything can happen with the final boss of this game.
Yes, there's still not only RNG on the final boss, but a soft lock opportunity. Now, right there, you're meant to fall into that hole and get flushed down by the D4 entrance, but if you actually buffer save and quit on that transition, you regain control of Link, and you can jump over the pit.
That was actually the original, I'm pretty sure that was the original area where runners used to do D4, they'd go down that pit, they'd enter D4 from there. At least I'm fairly certain that's what they used to do before the route change. At least several route changes, I think that's quite an old strat at this point.
So at this point, what the game expects you to do is go up there and talk to Marin, and you get like a minute-long cutscene. We're not going to do that.
If you actually touch Marin during this cutscene, it will activate. It's not necessarily hookshotting her, it's actually the fact that you touch her. And if any runner accidentally touches her, you will lose a minute of your run. And yeah, it's not pleasant when it happens. Right, so I think GreenTunic is coming up into a sort of a small sequence break, but kind of a very interesting one called Flame Skip, which I guess you can explain Final Flame, because it's Flame Skip and all.
Really? Yeah. So at this point, you were supposed to grab the Mirror Shield from D7. You might have noticed we didn't bother picking it up, because we don't actually need it. We have ways around it. So inside this cave, if you clip into the wall and use your boots to boost up into the flame, you actually won't get knocked back, and you can, ideally, if done right, take one hit like he did there, and then move out of it. If you're not clipped into that wall, the flames will actually knock you back.
Yeah, the level 2 Mirror Shield is completely useless in this run, there's no reason for it. And GreenTunic is here doing a bomb trigger to open the D7, not D8, sorry, dungeon. Usually supposed to use the Frog Song of Soul in order to wake up this guy.
The obstacle skip.
That's fairly disappointing, but it appears he's trying to redeem himself. However, the obstacle skip can be tricky. It can be quite interesting.
So Dungeon 8, yeah, we're gonna sequence break it too.
Obviously, it's not an LADX dungeon if we don't completely sequence break it horribly and in all sorts of ways.
Oh, hey look, a hidden entrance. Hey look, another hidden entrance.
Yeah, DA is actually infamous for being one of the most annoying dungeons casually because of all these gosh darn
Hey look,
invisible areas.
you can push that block from the side. I bet you didn't know that.
I think when this game first came out, there was actually a theory that you couldn't finish the dungeon if you used keys in a certain amount of areas. Because of all these, these invisible walls that you have to break with bombs. It's very annoying.
Hey look, another hidden entrance.
Another one. Yeah, this one
It's a
isn't as
super jump.
important. You can actually get there from the room that required the bomb arrows.
So, hey, remember that long out of bounds explanation? This room is why it's so long. That you can actually do a skip there called Bueno Skip to skip this guy by doing a super jump and landing on like the bottom center part of that tile, or not tile, that screen where it looks like you could stand. However, you can't actually access that through normal gameplay.
Bring back Bueno Skip.
Because it's more than one tile away from the tile that you can access normally, it is considered out of bounds and no longer allowed in this category.
Because
I'm
of
going for Rooster Skip right now.
Because of almost how volatile LADX is with its tricks and sequence breaks, a lot of out of bounds is very interesting and sort of kind of unintuitive. Like a lot of things that are considered out of bounds in this game, you wouldn't maybe consider out of bounds if you were playing this game casually or something.
Hey,
like
y'all missing Dungeon 4? Don't worry, we got your back. Here's Cue Ball again.
The best.
GreenTunic missing.
This boss is annoying. I can relate to this.
He is annoying.
God. It's the room.
Now it's the room that every LADX speedrunner hates.
I have my methods of doing this room.
There's a couple different ways you can do this. You actually just gotta control this thing with your D-pad and fill up all the black spaces.
It's probably the worst thing that Nintendo ever decided to put in this game. It's so unintuitive to control, it's just downright horrible.
While you're doing that, you want to be able to jump as close to that chest as you can while not falling in the pit. If you fall in the pit or you mess up the puzzle, you have to redo the entire room.
Yeah.
Maybe going for third try Rooster Skip.
It's kind of tragic when that happens. You really don't want that to, especially because of how late you can mess up.
So two more things to talk about real quick. Jesus jumping on GreenTunic screen. If you pause on the frame, you get the splash particles on. So before you actually fall into the lava or water, coming out of that, you actually get pushed down 1 pixel, and therefore you're clipped into the wall, and you can use that to super jump.
Yeah, it's a very bizarre thing. In fact, if you do that in a 2D area where there's water, like in a 2D area such as in D4, you'll actually completely crash the game. It's a very weird thing. So don't Jesus jump in 2D water unless you want to ruin your save file.
So that was Hothead. We don't know how much health he has.
GreenTunic going for the best glitch of the game, the Wang Boys.
This is a valid run.
He actually stays on the text for a while just to embrace it. If you, as I said earlier, with the bomb throws that were happening in D6, if you use the magic rod just before getting the instrument, you'll actually get the Wang Boys, as we like to call it. If you do it a bit later, you'll get a sideways Wang, which isn't nearly as cool, but still the Wang.
So GreenTunic heading for the Windfish Egg. Mighty still stuck on Rooster Skip. Rather unfortunate.
I'd like to apologise if the stream is slightly lagging in a few areas. I saw it quite a while ago. It was being a bit laggy.
Yeah, Rooster Skip is something you really want to practice, and even if you're well practiced on it, you can still get trolled for days.
I'd definitely say that if any people want to run this game and you just want to try Rooster Skip for the fun, I guess you want to buffer this. There's like a ton of strategies you can use unbuffered, but most of them just involve mashing and hoping.
So, on GreenTunic screen, another bomb trigger, because we don't have the ocarina. And you can enjoy this cutscene. We'll shut up for a bit.
Okay.
Alright. Mighty got his rooster skip.
It looks like GreenTunic isn't going to be able to have an interview after the race, so we'll wait till Mighty's done and then maybe have an interview with him about his feelings about his run.
So, a lot to explain on GreenTunic screen real quick. First of all, this is a maze. You're meant to read a book in a library to get the pattern of which directions to go. Turns out, if you never read the book, it's always the same. Left, left, up, right, right, up, left, up. And that will take us to the boss, which has 6 phases, and we will do the best we can. First of all, spam your bombs here to hopefully get a tech skip, saving a ton of time. GreenTunic gets it.
We're now going to do a quick kill, a blob quick kill, to try and kill this guy without the powder. It's kind of RNG based, so hopefully we get it. And I don't have audio turned on, so I don't really have the cue to see if he's got it.
He did not get it.
Yeah, okay, that's definitely unfortunate, but
however,
luckily
you might be able to hear. He has no music. That's courtesy of the tech skip.
I actually really like the soundtrack for this boss fight. It's disappointing we skip it.
So, second phase, this is Aghanim. One of many shoutouts to Link to the Past. Gotta get 4 hits. However, after hit number 2, it can get a little trolly. If you get a blue ball to your face, you're gonna be losing at least 8 seconds.
The first 2 are guaranteed to be yellow balls or balls you can reflect, while the last 2 have a complete random chance to be a blue ball or a reflectable ball or a yellow ball. So GreenTunic getting 3 reflectable balls, and actually just getting a blue ball there, which is unfortunate. Sometimes the luck you can get in this is just completely ridiculous. You can get like 7 blue balls in a row, and yeah, it's not very good. But luckily GreenTunic got some good RNG here.
And now coming up to Moldorm, who again has a quick kill. You can stun lock him and just get your 16 hits in just like that. That was phase 3. Now phase 4, it is Ganon.
The shout out to Link to the Past. This is like literally the same Ganon from that game, with his keys.
And now, hey, remember that boss you aren't gonna see? That was it. That was Landmula.
Yeah, this is our favourite form, Deathel. At least I think he's called Deathel.
Yes. Nightmare of Deathel. You have to get 16 hits on him when he decides he wants to open his eye. Now that's RNG.
Yeah, you can't really control how you open his eyes. Fun fact, if you're playing 100%, like the best category by the way, you can just kill this guy in 1 hit with the boomerang, so yeah.
After about hit 7, his arms start being out of sync from each other, and so it actually becomes harder to jump over them if you're not careful. And there he goes, so GreenTunic coming up the time.
I think we can safely say that GreenTunic is going to win this race.
Not only is he going to win this race, it looks like he will be advancing to the next round of the tournament.
I think he's won his last 2 matches, if I'm not mistaken.
A little bit of swag, and GreenTunic finishing with an SRL time of 57:35. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, so as I said before, he won't be able to join us for a post-match interview.
Mighty trying Goomba Surf. He actually got it, but got stuck in the wall. And he decides he's going to try it again.
Interesting. Yeah, if you get the Goomba Surf, it's kind of frustrating if you get it but you're not far enough into the wall to dash out, because you have to go through the pits because the Goomba's dead, obviously. I'd definitely say you should be going for the P-Hat Astria at this point, but it's completely runner's choice.
Yeah, at this point, maybe he's just trying to show off. Oh, that was unfortunate. Goombas. Oh, they respawn. So we'll see if we can get GreenTunic in here.
To answer,
oh no, he said he won't be able to do an interview.
Yeah, so to answer someone in the chat, Nightmare, the second to last form, is actually supposed to represent Landmola from A Link to the Past, and this game we just straight up murder him very quickly. The last form is just...
Oh no, does Mighty know how to get out of this? So this looks like a soft lock, it's not really. You can use the hook shot and super jump out of that.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun trick. It's very similar technique to the invincibility glitch we were talking about earlier. Where you basically hookshot it, and you will clip one thing into the wall, 1 pixel into the wall, and you can do a super jump.
One is Link's Awakening randomizer is not soon enough.
Yeah, I guess we should cover the D8 boss quite interesting health mechanic, and Mighty missing a bomb there, which is very unfortunate. And missing another
A
one.
couple bombs.
Yeah. Luckily, he has more than enough bombs for this fight. Also, because the GreenTunic's won, you know, he's just trying to get a run in. Not going for world records.
I don't know if he can PB at this point. Potentially, it would be a close one.
Yeah, his PB is a 107.
Oh,
If we're looking at enter D8, I highly doubt he'll be able to get a PB. Honestly, the final boss in general can take up to 5 minutes because of the amount of forms he has in tech. Yeah, also this is very, very unfortunate. Yeah.
Oh no!
That's incredibly unfortunate. Is he?
That is unfortunate.
Is he wanting to continue this run? Because it looks like he isn't as confident.
He is not.
Oh.
He's continuing.
Okay, he's continuing. This could be interesting. Yeah, he hasn't posted anything in Discord yet, so I guess we'll have to assume that he's going for some interesting stuff.
Fun fact about that super jump: a lot of super jumps you want to do near the apex of the jump. That one you actually want to do as late as possible, or you will get stuck in the wall.
The reason that actually works is in this game, super jumps only work on the 1.0 release of this game. On other versions, they actually patched out the glitch, but you can still do a similar version, which is basically the small super jumps you occasionally see these runners do to line up for other ones. As in D6, the example there, where they use the baby super jump, as I call it, to line up for the daddy super jump. So yeah, those only work on 1.2. If you have a 1.2 card of this game, I'm sorry, you might not be able to speedrun it to the current routes. Okay, we've got some very interesting credits on GreenTunic's screen. So, Mighty going for the P-Hat SG again. Yeah, quite a fun super jump. He gets it first try without any difficulties this time.
It does take a lot longer than if you had an optimal Goomba Surf. But with the RNG of Goomba Surf, sometimes it's best to just skip it or try it once and move on.
This run had a first try horse heads. Really, I think this run has been blessed by some sort of deity up ahead.
Unreal.
Yeah, it appears
both runners had first try horse heads.
It appears the stream is stuttering quite a bit for a lot of viewers. I'm sorry about that. We can't really do much about that, to be honest. It's both on the runner's Wi-Fi or internet.
I have seen a lot of runners struggle on this lately. I think that bomb's going to this.
Yeah, that was quite a bit early, to be honest. Yeah, this boss can just outright troll you. Another strat you can use if you are, I don't know, playing Hundo, is you can use the fire on this guy and kill him. He takes all sorts of damage from all sorts of weapons, really. He's quite an interesting boss, really. He takes a lot of damage from a lot of things. Oh god, Mighty getting knocked off again. He can't take another hit or he'll die. So this might spell the end of Mighty's run if he isn't careful with how he places himself. Unless he wants to continue on even after dying twice to Evil Eagle.
He keeps doing that last bomb early.
Yeah, I know, it's quite interesting. He doesn't appear like... Ooh, there we go.
You got it, but don't fall off the ladder, Mighty. Alright, we're good. The amount of times I've seen people fall off the ladder after killing the boss and have to redo it.
I think we should talk about the credits. The credits flicker at 60 FPS. And most players stream at 30 FPS, maybe for, you know, the fact that the computers maybe can't handle it, 60 FPS, whatever. So it looks very interesting. Yeah, some of the text is sort of glitched up and very weird. So Mighty now about to enter D8. Shoutouts to the cursor on the screen.
Alright, and he avoids the hole.
Yeah, it's not very difficult. You just gotta buffer the same quick menu and then into the room, and then just hold about down left.
Also, if there's a cursor on the screen, it might be yours.
No, it was Mighty. He had it on for like a second or so.
Now, fortunately, even though we're passing the Rooster Skip room, we don't have to do that again.
Yeah, we already used the Rooster key, Bird key, sorry, for you know, getting to D7.
So the hard part of that's over.
Yeah, the hard part of this run is over. D8 is relatively simple compared to most of the dungeons. It's not really too Excuse me. There's not really too much harder strats there. It's quite a simple dungeon, really. Right, so Mighty going for his own Flame Skip again, because just the name, I'll leave Final Flame to commentate the Flame Skip.
Gee, thanks.
It's a fun trick.
So, in case you missed it earlier, you're meant to have the Mirror Shield at this point, but we don't because we don't need it. And instead, we're going to clip ourselves into the wall and use the boots to move up very quickly, and ideally, only take one hit of damage from the flame, which is 2.5 hearts, and then move out of it. Oh, Mighty taking 2 hits, but he had plenty of health to survive.
Yeah.
Then coming up on the bomb trigger to open D8.
He only has a set amount of bombs. He doesn't have that many, so if he fails his bomb trigger a few times, he might be in the...
Sure, I have seen players get here and then realize they don't have enough bombs. Missing the first bomb trigger.
You want to have both of these bomb triggers, it is a frame-perfect trick,
Yes.
the bomb usage.
Especially the ones where you're doing transitions and going sideways, it's sometimes a lot easier to buffer them. Sometimes it's actually required to buffer them.
I still buffer them, like all my bomb triggers, even some of the pit ones I'm not very comfortable with mashing.
Oh, I have to do that as well, or else I'll go through all my bombs in one hit.
Buffering for bomb triggers is a relatable thing. Right, so yeah, Mighty's just going through the D8. He's doing a naked super jump here, interestingly enough. Most players, at least I, opt for a bomb arrow super jump.
I cannot handle naked super jumps. I know it's quicker to do it there, but it's also more difficult, in my opinion.
Yeah, naked super jumps are kind of annoying. Also, Mighty's going for a kind of an interesting strat here, but he kind of missed it. If you place a bomb slightly before using an arrow, you can actually shoot a bomb arrow. Basically what you do is you like place a bomb, pause, and use your arrows to shoot a bomb arrow there. It's slightly faster, I think, than walking across diagonally. But I don't think
I believe the exact timing is within 4 frames of that bomb going. Yeah, you could
4 frames.
shoot the bomb.
That was actually patched in 1.2. Another thing that was patched. So you couldn't do that small little trick with the bomb and the arrow. So yeah, as you can see on Mighty's screen, especially if you're a runner who hasn't been playing it for quite a while, menuing can be annoying because you need to occasionally have to look at your menu and decide where things are. If you're running other categories, the ocarina can screw you over in ways, but luckily this category doesn't have ocarina.
So, fun fact about Blano, if you don't defeat him quickly, he will actually throw punches at you that, if they hit you, will launch you back to the start of the dungeon.
I did not know that.
He does, and they actually look different than his normal punches. It's like a huge wind-up. You can clearly tell that trouble's coming.
That's some good LEDX lore.
Mighty picking up his wang.
Is Wang Boy.
You know what? If he gets Wang Boys, this will still be an amazing run. That's the important part.
The important part of this run is the fact that he gets Wang, not necessarily his time. I think he actually has passed his PB at this point.
He has.
107.
107 is 31.
Yeah, it's not a great run, but he was screwed by RNG in several areas, so you can't really control that about the run. And he did get a first try horse heads. Here's Cue Ball, everyone's favourite boss. Oh god. Okay, it looks
The
like
amount of times I have struggled with Cue Ball. Yes, it's a pretty easy boss, but if you make one minor mistake, like charging your sword up late, you're gonna take some damage.
Yeah, Cue Ball is kind of one of the easiest mini bosses in this game. Not to say any of them are particularly hard. A lot of the mini bosses in this game are fairly simple, actually. So Mighty going for an ultra safe strat there, where you just use the D-pad to maneuver the, I guess the landformer. I have no idea what the heck that's called, and then jumping afterwards, just in case he doesn't I don't know, press the wrong input and have to start over again. A very good strat if you are uncomfortable with doing the jumping stuff.
So Mighty going for his Jesus jump again. If If you pause on the frame where those splash particles appear, you get pushed down a pixel, and because of that, you can do a super jump.
Alright, this is Hothead. He has an interesting health mechanic that doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's something to do with the frames that he's active. He can only be hit. Sometimes, as you notice on GreenTunic's screen, you got quite a fairly quick kill. But, like, sometimes he just doesn't die very quickly, and it's very frustrating. But luckily, Mighty got a fairly good. And he gets the side wang. So
Better than no wang.
It is better than no wang.
The amount of players this tournament that have not even tried to get the wang has been extremely disappointing.
I think if you don't get a wang, you should be banned immediately.
I tried telling them, if they don't get the wang, that should be an hour added onto their time, but I don't think the admins like the idea. So now Mighty heading over to, I almost said the death egg, the windfish egg.
It's the death egg. Dr. Robotnik has come to destroy us all.
Considering all the Mario characters in this game, would it really surprise you if suddenly Sonic appeared?
I mean, this game was made at the era in which Nintendo and Sega were still fighting as console creators. So I guess it would be kind of interesting if you saw Sonic in this game. It'd be quite,
Somebody tell, for the next ROM hack, just have a Sonic sprite.
Gotta go fast. Okay, he's gonna play some bombs now, so this will hopefully be a blast for him.
God. Why did I get stuck with P-Dog?
Don't worry, none of our mics are broken, we're just staying quiet for the Ballad of the Windfish.
We enjoy it.
I actually don't have audio, so I can't hear it. It makes no difference to me. Okay, we've explained the final boss once, but quick refresher, several quick kills, order, left up, right up, left up. Hopefully Mighty gets the bomb trigger, or else, well, to be honest, we'll have some nice music to end the race, so might not be the worst.
Just spam your bombs here, and let's see.
Nope.
He did not get it.
So yeah, if you don't get it, there's quite a lengthy text box about how the nightmares do not want Link to destroy the dream, whatever.
You can still get the quick kill on Blob, however, the pixel is completely different on where you need to be. Mighty looks like not going for it. He probably doesn't know where it is. I'll admit, I have no idea where it is.
I believe it's slightly above the whale's eye, the windfish's eye.
Ooh.
You can like go there and slash.
Don't run out of powder, Mighty. There we go.
Okay, good.
Good.
One powder remaining. Interesting enough, if you use up all your powder, it actually completely is removed from your inventory. Unlike the bombs and arrows, which just say 0. I guess that's because if you have 0 powder, you can go back and get the mushroom from the forest at any point in the game. That's some fun LDX lore for you all.
So again, another refresher. Aghanim. First 2 balls are guaranteed to be yellow. That's good, but after that, it's RNG, and there's no limit to the amount of blue balls you can receive. You have
Just
to
like
get
in real life.
Right.
Oh god, so we got some blue balls going on here. So yeah, you can actually use the shovel to reflect Aghanim's balls. I'd like to say that I'm disappointed that both runners haven't used this, but I don't care.
Mighty going for the Moldorm quick kill. Can he stunlock him? Yes.
Looks like he has, yeah.
Fun fact, you can actually kill Moldorm with like 200... What is it? 200 some hits?
No idea about
No.
this, to be honest.
I counted one time and I don't remember.
Are you talking about Master Stelphos? Yeah. I'm very confused, I apologise.
No, you can actually kill Moldorm. Like, completely.
Alright, team getting the kill, and it's trolled. It's Deathful time.
Will Mighty move Deathful into the corner? Looks like yes. That helps a bit if you can keep them locked there.
Yeah, so if you keep them locked there, you can pretty much spam arrows, and it's all good.
There's 4. Another quick open. That was only 3. Deathful actually being kind with the eye.
Oh god, except it was hit, so...
Oh, wow.
Oh no.
Don't run out of arrows, Mighty. But that is like the quickest 5 times I've ever seen Deathful open the eye. And still, pretty good RNG on that. So we'll see what the SRL time comes out to be in just a few seconds. And there it is, Mighty finishing with an SRL time of 1:15:23.
I'm just gonna say, I can't really stick around for the commentary, I've gotta go right now. So, yeah, GG to both runners. Good commentary final.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get Mighty in here for an interview.
Cool stuff. GG's to both the runners. Yeah.
Indeed, GG. So again, the results, GreenTunic finishing with an SRL time 57:35, Mighty with an SRL time of 1:15:23. Persevering through bad RNG, some bad OBS, a lot. I am glad to see I was able to finish the race. And it looks like we will be getting Mighty in here for an interview. Hello, hello.
Hi.
So congratulations on getting through that run, even with all the OBS issues and everything else we've had going on today.
I'm sorry, I feel bad.
It happens. Can't control everything. So that was an interesting run. You kept it close for, I'd say, the good first half of the run. You were both in Dungeon 5 together, albeit still a couple minute difference before it started becoming a wider gap. So how'd you feel about the run, minus the OBS issues?
Was pretty terrible. I didn't expect to fail Rooster Skip that much.
That one did hurt, I will admit. That was quite unfortunate. But it happens. That is probably the hardest trick in the game. On the plus side, first try horse heads.
Oh yeah, that was fun. And some of the stuff I was just like, really? This is the run I get first try horse heads?
Both you and GreenTunic pulling that off. That's the first time I've seen it in one of these tournament races. That was some good RNG.
Nice. We're blessed. We are blessed.
Yes, let's see. Didn't really write down any other notes. Unfortunately, I believe this will knock you out of the tournament, as that moves you down to 1 and 2, and GreenTunic to 2 and 1, along with Spicefather.
Oh yeah, I was expecting that. I'm not very good at this game. Oracles is my jam.
But you did get a victory. You're not going out 0 and 3.
No, I'm not.
And as a reminder, unfortunately, we were not able to get GreenTunic in here for an interview today. We'll not get to talk to him. That's really everything I had. I didn't really have any questions written down. Do you have anything you want to say?
No, I'm good. It was a fun tournament.
Indeed. So, thank you again, everyone that watched. Huge thanks to Feasel for putting this together and hosting it. With us starting about a half hour late, we had the unfortunate issues with GreenTunic arriving late, getting held up, I believe, by work. It happens. Glad we were still able to get the race going today, so huge thanks to him. and to everyone involved. That is going to be it for us. Let me check the schedule. Alright, nothing else going on Speed Gaming 2 until 6 o'clock, and we have some Diddy Kong Racing, followed by Earthbound and Metroid Fusion. Over on Speed Gaming, the regular channel, right now you have Final Fantasy 1 Rando. Later on, you also have a Link to the Past Rando, followed by Zelda 2 Rando. So plenty of randomizers going on if that's your thing. But that is going to be it for us today. The next LADX race will be... That is not the spreadsheet I wanted. Tomorrow, over on Speed Gaming, at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, it will be Xander versus Crunchy. Hope to see y'all there. Again, that is it for us. Thank you for coming, and we will see you next time.